basically looting is what it was. And so, but archaeology now, it's inch at a time digging down.
Right.
It's uncovering what's been left behind, either in an act of destruction, a natural disaster, or just whatever, neglect. And people build on top, build on top, build on top. And so the further down we go, the older it is. And what we unearth, broken pieces of pottery, sometimes lost coins, pieces of metal, jewelry, things like that, and inscriptions. And if the climate is right, like in Egypt, the dry sands of Egypt, we find ancient writings, lots of them. Or the Dead Sea region, scrolls, the famous Dead Sea Scrolls. And so we find all this stuff. What it mostly does is provide us with a context. And then you read a gospel story or a story in the book of Acts, or we could be talking about the Old Testament, and we realize, oh, that's what was going on. I see, I understand it better. And that's the main thing archaeology does. A lot of people think, oh, archaeology proves this and that. Well, sometimes it does. But what archaeology mostly does is help us understand the world of the Bible better.
Right.
And then we can interpret scripture more accurately. And that's the big benefit. And that's why I'm so enthusiastic about archaeology.
Very cool. How'd you get started in this? Is this something you always wanted to do?
No, I think like a lot of people early on, even when I was a PhD student and getting really serious in biblical studies, I thought of, archaeology is so specialized, only certain kind of people can do that. And most of us, we just end up studying the Bible, and we should pay attention to what the archaeologists are doing.
Sure.
And as I got deeper into my academic life, I was already an assistant professor, then I was an associate professor, and I thought, how can I up my game? And I paid attention to it. I started subscribing to Biblical Archaeology Review. I still subscribe to it. And I thought, I need to go to Israel and see it myself. And so that was 35 years ago. And so I've gone back to Israel. Sometimes you can't because of this recent war or whatever.
Of course. Right.
I've gone to Israel maybe 30 times.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I've volunteered dig. I'm not an archaeologist, but I know what archaeology is. And I've been at dig sites, also in Cyprus too, by the way. So I wanted to be in a different setting and see how it was either similar to archaeology in Israel or different. And so I've learned a lot. And so I keep up with the literature. I've contributed to the literature. I've written studies on Jesus and archaeology. And it is work. You need to go there. And we're digging up the past 1 inch at a time.
Right.
And you have to work with people who are well trained. I've worked with Shimon Gibson, for example, in Israel. I know several archaeologists in Israel. And by the way, I didn't know this, but along the way, it told me that the Gospels are trustworthy because guess what? Israeli archaeologists who might not even believe in God, they might be agnostic or whatever, if they're concerned with the first century, they always use Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and the book of Acts as their primary sources. Also Josephus, the Jewish historian. Why? Why do they do that? It isn't because of some kind of canonical privileging. It isn't out of theology. It's because they find them to be accurate sources.
Right.
And that told me a lot.
Wow.
Why do you find them accurate? Well, because they will say it's verisimilitude. They reflect the way things actually were. And I've come to understand if you get 50 people to volunteer or 100 people to volunteer and dig 2 weeks, 4 weeks with you in Israel, you want to know where to dig.
Yeah.
And you want to understand what it is you have dug up. If you just dig a great big hole in the ground and you've moved 50 tons of earth and debris and you got nothing to show for it, you're out of business. You'll never get another dig permit. And so they want to know where to dig. They want for there to be payoff where people say, wow, that was fantastic. Look what we found. We dug this up. We dug that up. We now understand things better. And so you use your best sources. And so right on down the line, these Israeli archaeologists, and of course, archaeologists from Europe and North America and around the world, they all use Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Book of Acts, and Josephus. Why? because they're reliable sources. They don't use the Gospel of Thomas. They don't use Gnostic Gospels. They don't use these quacky kind of things that some North American biblical scholars are infatuated with. They don't use that because those things don't help. They
Right.
don't reflect the reality of the past. So that's what I've learned along the way, and it really has helped me understand the Gospels better and appreciate